For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Welcome to another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and later I'll be inviting you to be a part of the conversation by calling 452-2979. That's 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. I'll be attempting to go through some of your comments in the chat room because Amanda is off today. I guess she's getting all set for carnival celebrations. So we will trudge along and we'll engage each other. So we'll hope to have yet another fantastic broadcast for today, Friday. Things are very unusual in this country. Chaotic. Out of control. It is as if we're existing in an environment that is rudderless. And that is not unfortunate. It is unacceptable. It is intolerable. Because we are experiencing various problems that have continued to plague us over several years, if not decades. And we do not have the answers to those problems. It is as if we have just resigned ourselves to just accepting them as the norm and allowing them to take a life of their own without us being too preoccupied with seriously finding solutions. And those whose job it is to tackle those issues and to bring them under some level of control, what we get from them almost on a daily basis, excuse after excuse. In the meantime, The people are suffering as a result of that dereliction of duty. And I'm talking about what you have known over the last few hours in St. Lucia. We have recorded another double homicide. And it occurred last evening in Black Malay, which is a section of the Castries East constituency, very much a part of our St. Lucian society. And if it is not Black Malay, it is somewhere in Dennery, then it is in Vieux-Fort, it is in Soufrière, it is in Central Castries, you name it. But in the meantime, those people have the responsibility to manage the island's serious crime problem. I'm talking about, in particular, our legislators, our cabinet of ministers, the island's prime minister, the minister with responsibility for national security. He's playing a game with us, one that seeks to distract the people. In other words, trying to distract his employers, who are the voters of St. Lucia. Because were it not for social media, were it not for NewsSpin that has been focusing on those critical issues over several years, you would not get the impression that there is a side of this country that is crying out for attention and that is crying out for effective leadership. So we have had a situation over the last few weeks. A 12-year-old is gunned down, a 15-year-old is gunned down, an 18-year-old is gunned down. A pregnant woman is gunned down. Her baby dies in the process. And this does not warrant the authorities raising the alarm. It does not warrant the society fretting over the state of affairs. It does not warrant an address to the nation by the island's prime minister and minister with responsibility for national security. He continues to speak about low unemployment. He continues to speak about high economic activity. Every opportunity he gets, he endeavors to protect the victory so that his St. Lucia Labour Party can be returned to office whenever he calls general elections in St. Lucia. That is his motivation. That is what he is preoccupied with, because if that was not the case, by now we have received a serious statement from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia on this national crisis that we continue to experience in this country. And we have to blame ourselves, We have to blame ourselves as a citizenry. Because what we have done is to allow the authorities to have their way, to have their cake and eat it. They do not account to us. They do not tell us why they cannot manage the various problems that are having a daily effect on us as citizens. A 15-year-old, one of two people who lost their lives last evening in the Black Malay area. In total, 6 people were shot. That includes 2 females. And will you hear during the course of this broadcast the likes of government senator and prospective candidate for Castries Southeast, Lisa Jarayer, calling the program this afternoon to express concern, to condemn, and to speak about the way forward. Do you think you will hear from Dr. Alison Jean or Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot on the crime problem in the country? Do you expect to hear from the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, National Security Minister, and also the MP for Castries East, Mr. Philip J. Pierre? And you might say that he's currently attending an ECCB meeting in Antigua as we speak. But there are instances when his Antiguan counterpart will take the opportunity, wherever he is, sometimes outside the shores of his country, if there's a major disaster, if there's a major incident involving the murder of an Antiguan or Barbudan, he would call in. And people don't have any excuse anymore, considering the technology that is at our disposal, so that we can act almost instantaneously in response to any kind of disruption, any kind of natural disaster or man-made disaster. And so we are being taken for granted in St. Lucia, and we have ourselves, only ourselves, to blame for this. How do we deal with this issue? If somebody was in the private sector and they were underperforming and just coming up with excuses, the managing director, how do you think that person would have dealt with it? If it warrants the intervention of the board of directors, how do you think they would have addressed that particular issue? Because it is all about productivity. And it was the Prime Minister who, just about 6 months ago, said whilst delivering an address that his job is to ensure that the people of St. Lucia are safe. He said that. He admitted that, and maybe that escaped us, but it is worth us listening to the Prime Minister.
All I want to say to you is that my job is to make St. Lucia safer for all of us. All I want to say to you is that my job is to make St. Lucia safer for all of us. All I want to say to you is that my job is to make St. Lucia safer for all of us.
His job is to make St. Lucia safer for all of us. And on the basis of what he just said there, and we played it now, but he made that statement some 6 months ago, he has failed to deliver. We are not safe. There is no denying this. We are not safe in St. Lucia. And I know sometimes people like to conclude that what is happening is gang warfare. But it is happening in our country. It is happening in our various communities. We cannot allow things to get so out of control that criminals can on their own decide, and they know they'll get away with it, to dispense their own form of justice. That means that we are a lawless country. We have to ensure that we embark upon a course of action that would send the correct message to the criminal elements in our country. Put them under some level of pressure so that they would restrain themselves and realize that they cannot take matters into their own hands. They don't have a choice. And having an illegal firearm in their possession and ammunition also almost automatically will result with them facing some kind of penalty. But if they have the inclination and they can assume that they can act with impunity, that is exactly what will happen. And that says something about the quality of our country's leadership at various levels. If it is at the level of the Prime Minister, National Security Minister, at the level of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and in particular, the island's police commissioner. The criminals are having their way, and it is at the expense of the island's reputation and ensuring that we maintain law and order in our country and the people feeling safe. Clearly, they have no reason to feel safe. Those people who are watching this broadcast and listening in Black Malay, in Wilton's Yard, in a number of other communities in St. Lucia in total, we as a people cannot feel safe, and it ought not to be business as usual. I don't know if we have a clip of the Prime Minister saying, I think it was in Parliament, saying that he knows, basically the source of the problem as far as crime is concerned in St. Lucia. Listen.
I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point, and you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scene. What's happening behind the scene? I know. I also have something to say. I won't say it now about the crime in St. Lucia. I'll say it at some point, and you all may have to deal with me, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. I know all that pretense about crime and who's pushing crime. I know what's happening behind the scene. What's happening behind the scene? I know.
I mean, that's not an ordinary individual from Marshall or the Georgetown Boulevard who's speaking there, or from Waterworks Road. That is the Prime Minister and National Security Minister who's saying, as far as our crime problem is concerned in St. Lucia, he knows what is happening behind the scenes. And I know some hack somewhere will take me to task on Facebook or on some other talk show. But we're not getting into what you guys like to abuse, talk of misinformation and disinformation. You heard it. It's not something that I manufactured. You heard the National Security Minister in his own words. And he was not on the block. He was speaking in the island's parliament. He knows what is happening behind the scenes in St. Lucia as far as crime is concerned. Now, shouldn't this be part of the discussion in our country? Shouldn't someone, seriously, and I know unfortunately it's not within the jurisdiction maybe of the CIA and the FBI, those external law enforcement agencies, to do that. But in the case of what's happening within our shores as a so-called independent country, shouldn't the police be asking Mr. Pierre a few questions? Tell us, help us get to the bottom of that problem. Because we can't depend, unfortunately, on so-called civil society groups in St. Lucia, or prominent individuals in our country. I could call a few names, but I won't. Those people have just decided that it's okay to try and secure their bread and butter at the expense of the safety of this country, the safety of the citizens, and the reputation of our country. I cannot imagine that the Prime Minister of Barbados will be making that statement in the island's parliament. Mere Motley. Because she takes her people seriously. I cannot imagine Dr. Holness, Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, making that statement, because he will not get away with it. Whether it's the commentariat community, the literati, those bright people in the Jamaican society, they will, or they would, take him to task in St. Lucia. Don't expect to hear anything at all, much less somebody posing a few questions to the Prime Minister on such a serious issue. And the Prime Minister very often, together with his surrogates friends, the hacks of the SLP, tell you that people are politicizing crime in this country. What do you think the Prime Minister has just done there, or did a few months ago? That is a reckless attitude, a nonchalant attitude to a very serious problem that we are experiencing in St. Lucia right now. And he's wearing the cap of National Security Minister. He is the Prime Minister of our country. He is the minister with responsibility for finance, and for some people, he is the best Prime Minister we have ever had in this St. Lucia of ours. Let's take our calls right now at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And while we at it, the Prime Minister, even before you was Prime Minister, a few years ago, on the DBS program News Maker Live, made the following statement. Now, then you were ready? Ready then, yes. Dr. Anthony, even then?
Even then, ready.
And then
Alan Chasley,
then
and Von Lewis,
Dr. Von
and
Lewis.
John Compton, and George Charlton, I've been the most ready.
Because of what? Your years in politics?
Because my experience, my ministerial experience, based on ministerial experience, I've been the most ready.
Most ready to be Prime Minister. Let's see if we have a call via WhatsApp at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Okay, we had a WhatsApp call coming in. We have lost that call. So let me see if I could go through some of your messages. Tim, all I know is inconsequential because Philip J. Pierre said it in the House. Philip J. Pierre is not stupid. Only in the House he can say that. He ought not to be making such statements anywhere at all if he takes the people seriously along with his responsibilities. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, and good afternoon to Amanda.
Amanda is off today, sir.
Tim, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I get a chance to call in. I'm calling from London, Ontario, you know.
Okay.
I was good friends with your brother, Tim. Tall boy.
Okay, Vernon.
Anyway.
All right.
My buddy. But my thing, Tim, what troubling is like the death of Tyson. To me, Tim, that should say a lot, you know. I mean that atmosphere with the death of Tyson and the way it's handled. I mean, if you really study this thing, it says a lot about how St. Lucia is structured. You know, the police department, and because to tell me, right, the police, just a dog, okay, they got 2 dogs, right, or 1 dog, right? But in their care, and they cannot even give us the St. Lucian public and show that the dog is safer and how could they protect St. Lucia? If you cannot protect a dog that cannot even talk, how could you protect the entire nation? You know, and the way they handle it. The commission didn't come out and say, you know, a dog of Tyson is thing, and then, you know, the death of Tyson, they didn't come out and give a press conference and nothing, you know, and his thing and show that they up on the game, or even have the French.
Let's put it this way. Those people do not have, let's be blunt, let's be honest, those people have no respect for the people of St. Lucia. They have absolutely no respect for the people.
Yeah, and you know, one thing came to mind again. We keep saying the Royal St. Lucia Police Force team. Do we have to address them guys as the Royal St. Lucia? Do they deserve the Royal?
Well, that's how they are known.
But do they deserve, because Royal means like Crown King. Like, you know, do they deserve that title, Royal? Oh, you know what I mean? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And one more thing, on the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister just realized that you played a clip about the Prime Minister saying that that's his job to protect the people of St. Lucia.
Well, that's a statement he made
just gets
6 months ago. He made that statement
Yeah, but
6 months ago, and I'm only
he
playing
just
it
gets
now.
So what happened to my dad is not. I'm not a policeman. My dad is a policeman. What happened to that statement? Elections coming now. Everything. Like everything changed. The whole meter changed, right? That's what it is. Because back in your father is not a police. It's not like you don't. That's not your responsibility to secure the people of St. Lucia, right? That's the way I put it. Now it's your job. You the policeman now. You have to protect them. But I tell you, boy, in the name of politics, one thing with Mr. Pierre, man, I go tell you something, man. With politics, man, he's full of energy to protect the country, and the man like he's wearing a pumper. But when it's come to politics, oh my God, the man on fire. Boy, I don't know what. I think he had to rethink his leadership. Whether he want to be the leader of our position of a political party or the leader of the country. As far as the leader of the country, I don't think he did. Anyway, Tim, big up yourself.
Thank you so much.
Man.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. We continue with your calls. And let me see if I have any WhatsApp messages to go through right now. Just bear with me while we try to see if we go through some of your comments. Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Tim.
Good afternoon to you.
And how are you doing, Mr. Tim?
I am okay.
Mr. Tim, that is one thing I must say. I'm respectful of everybody's opinion and views. But Tyson was so much of a great man, because the reason why I say that, we have certain criminalities that have happened to us human beings. And at the end of the day, I see them move so fast with Tyson. I don't say Tyson wasn't doing a good job. But it seems like that they're going to give Tyson a small tomb 4x8 too as well, because that's the kind of respect Tyson had. Now, if Tyson is entitled for that same kind of respect, we need the same kind of respect in handling crime in the country. Now, we don't have nothing they call security. The Prime Minister held a role of security minister and Prime Minister. Now, I can give a description of that. So, who say your Prime Minister? Ça means that who ni paye à l'armée. So, ni security. Ça means that who still ni paye at l'armée. That means that you have the country in two choices at the same hand. We still have Jeremiah serving on that same security, and we still have that other minister. Why you did not give that thing to Jeremiah and keep your portfolio, my brother? This is the way we have to move, because let me tell you something about the force right now. I'm not saying all policemen are bad, but majority of them know themselves. They know themselves as goats from the sheep. And the only thing policemen know how to do in St. Lucia is the majority of them, I already repeat myself, staying in town with a little notepad and just waiting to give a traffic man a charge. Knowing if there is a drug bust, they know how to run things. But to go into the key substance of searching for crime, searching for people mishandling the country, they don't know how to do that. And tell them, Imam John said that. And they don't need to be afraid of. I don't tell you majority of policemen are bad. But you see the majority of them, they have scapegoats. These fellas don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle themselves. They don't know how to approach people. You know, majority of the policemen now, if they have to approach you, they use what F word or what the F word. And that is the way you say you want social security. When you have to fire up as a policeman, and I will give you a last reference screen. I used to know long time policing, especially in traffic block. Remember, I tell you that. If you had the headlamp that was burnt, you know what the policeman would have told you? Stay for 24 hours or 48 hours to fix up your lights. If you don't comply, you entitled for a charge. Sometimes you roll your vehicle. You don't even know that you have a pack like that burn. The fella's already charging you. Sometimes you get a vehicle all American. It doesn't have the right lighting system. They're already charging you. And you know, I would tell you one of the police commissioners I respect, she's from my area, Monrepo, Griselda. They said she was working in Passport. But Griselda had already handled that police force where we are working through criminal investigation, traffic, knowing how to do community policing, and all of these things. And you know what the same set of policemen did? Because she was a female. They criminalize her.
Okay, Colin, I will have to thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution. Please call some other time. Let's see if we get some more calls and WhatsApp messages. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, the Prime Minister speaks to the foolish people of St. Lucia. It is a pity we have to listen to such crap from our St. Lucian leader. And another one says via WhatsApp, they should give Tyson body cam to wear, problem solved. And we'll see if we have a call on the landline while we go through another WhatsApp message. Just please bear with me while we go through this one. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, Tim, he also said crime won't make him lose the election. So by saying that, is he saying he doesn't care and all that matters is winning the poll? And let's see if we have some more of your contributions. Somebody says there, Prime Minister, is it safer? Lucia has been suffering more in labor pains with no painkiller with the doctors we selected to take care of her. Poor St. Lucia. Help will soon come, shaking my head. We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Tim, I just want to pose some questions to you this afternoon. And, well, you might be able to answer or not. Tim, is it protocol that when a president or a prime minister is coming to another island or country, that protocol is you have to kill a dog?
Hold on. I don't know. Let me say very early, I don't know.
Okay.
Where you going there, I have to tell you, I don't know.
Okay. And is it protocol that you have to shut the airport and allow the president and every entourage that he's traveling with to just enter free without searching or anything like that?
Well, those things do happen in certain jurisdictions. It would have happened when the Prime Minister of India recently visited Trinidad and Tobago. There were certain disruptions that people had to be subjected to.
Oh, so it happened in Trinidad, so therefore it can happen in St. Lucia also.
I'm just saying it's possible, sir. It's possible.
And no K9 to find out if anything comes in, no security, no custom officer to see what is happening. I am not talking about the president, but the entourage, because I understood that there were 140 people with the president of Nigeria when he visited St. Lucia, and everybody just entered as a carte blanche. And the other thing is that now, I'm not blaming anybody, but the fact is, right now, the guns on the street has been increased.
No, but Kola, where are you going with this? Because we cannot attribute this to the visit of the Nigerian president to St. Lucia. If that is what you're insinuating.
No. I never said that. I said that everybody went on carte blanche, and right now I don't want to blame anybody for anything, but you find out right now, see what happened in Black Mary last night again, and like we do not have a K9 to kind of sniff what is coming in the island, what is going out of the island, and as though the Prime Minister is on a record saying that they told him the scanner would be ready, and that gave him the right to send away the first set of dogs. Even he don't know that the scanner is working. And would the Prime Minister allow the law enforcement agent to remove the scanner at its location every time there is a bus that the scanner will go? And how can the scanner detect drugs, money, and guns when it is out there? Tim, I cannot understand, I cannot believe that our Prime Minister, somebody who's supposed to be the leader of a country, thinking so vague and daft. Serious, Because by right, you are the leader of the country. You're supposed to be one of the smart individuals. You cannot allow somebody to dictate to you and tell you things. People can advise, yes, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. You are the leader. You are the Prime Minister. The country is in your hand. So therefore, something like that, you make sure the scanners are there and it's working. Now the scanners cannot work without the canines, because the canines job and the scanner job is two different jobs. The scanner is for the ports or for the airport, but the canine will go outside of the airport, outside of the docks, and look for things. So when you're telling me that somebody tell you that scanner would be working and it did not work and it took 2 years to work, I am wondering if our Prime Minister is of a good mind or of a sound mind, or if our Prime Minister just they're occupying a seat of a leader or something. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Somebody says that most of the time we blame the government, which we should, but what about the families that are aware of those criminals but still choose to hide them? I was told most of these young men in St. Lucia hold unlicensed firearms. The village can no longer raise the child because they'll end up dead. Sad. Well, if the village cannot raise a child, and that era is no longer with us, okay, we have moved on from that particular period. If there's a breakdown in the family, and as a result of this, we have a lot of young men who are engaging in deviant behavior, and we realize that when they attend the various learning institutions and so on, what are we doing about it? At least at the level of the school, the education system, at the level of the wider society. Therefore, why do we have law enforcement? Why do we have police officers? Why do we have various institutions whose responsibility it is to maintain law and order in St. Lucia, to maintain the peace on our streets? A lot of those young men do not kill each other in their respective homes. It takes place outside of the homes, in the communities, and so on. How do those people end up getting the firearms and the ammunition, and it seems to roam freely in the society among us? You're expecting their fathers and their mothers to police them on the streets? Or do you expect that our police force will take on that responsibility? Do you expect that the legislators, those people who have elected to enact laws in our country, to do the appropriate thing and to enact the kind of legislation that would send chills through the spine of those criminal elements in our country? There is a responsibility, yes, for the family, but there's also a responsibility for the state. The state has to intervene where the family has failed. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says, Tim, the Prime Minister will have to come out and tell the people of St. Lucia who he knows is behind the crime problem in our country. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, simply, I like rats, tell the people that. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Hi, Tim. Has Officer Tyson been laid to rest as yet? If not, Officer Tyson be given a state funeral. My information, and I did try to find out as of yesterday, Officer Tyson has not been buried. And that is the latest that I have on this K9 642. By the way, it was 3 years old at the time of its death. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Let me see if I have some more of your contributions to go through. Somebody says he knows what is going on behind the scenes, but there he is not doing anything about it, shaking my head. Let's see if you have a call on the landline. In the meantime, we go through a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, the way I have seen it, the Prime Minister and his government, all they are doing is protecting their victory, while we are not safe in our little island. Another one. The Prime Minister needs to fire the Minister with responsibility for crime prevention, the Minister for National Security, and of course, the Prime Minister needs to fire the Prime Minister. Let's see if we have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
I hope you're doing well, as well as to Amanda and your listeners.
Not too bad. Amanda's off today.
Oh, she's off today. Okay, all right. Well, that leaves a little more work for you to do today. So.
Yes.
Okay, so Tim, I just wanted to two issues I wanted to kind of discuss today, and the first one has to do with the recent replacement of the sitting minister with Lisa Joyer. So Tim, in the almost 5 years this government has been in power, they've had no cabinet shuffle, reshuffle, anything like that. So I'm looking at the replacement of Mr. Henry, and I'm thinking, because I know Rick and other people have called and would like an explanation. Even you would like an explanation as to why he was being replaced. So obviously he's being replaced. One would conclude because he's not doing a good enough job, right? So they believe that Lisa can come in and do a better job. Mm-hmm. Would you conclude that, Tim?
At least at the constituency level, because it's all about retaining that seat. So they believe that probably he will not fare too good against Guy Joseph this time around, and maybe Lisa Joyer will do a lot better, even defeat Guy Joseph again. That's the position. That's what I read into this.
So Tim, when you say he's not doing it at the constituency level, who's that? Whose fault is that? Is that his fault, or is that the party's fault? Because and I asked you that question because if you remember, the same thing happened to Dr. Pep. Mm-hmm. You right, where he was basically left up to his own in the constituency, and then he was replaced. You remember that?
Yes, ancillary canaries, yes.
Right. So if he's not doing a good job at the constituency level when his government is in power, I mean, shouldn't that reflect on his party?
It will reflect both on himself and the party and the government.
So, right, because the main things, because of how our government is set up, in order for you to do any work at real, affect any changes and impact your constituency, you need support basically from the government. They have to allocate, as you've heard the representative for Sozel complain about recently, that he's not being given enough money where he can help his constituents and stuff like that. So right. if your government is in power and you are not doing a good enough job at the constituency level, that should reflect back on your government, because they're probably not giving you the funding and stuff like that you need to help your constituents, because that's the main issue that constituents complain about in terms of representation and stuff like that. They want to know that enough money is coming into constituency so that projects that needs, to be taken care of, whether it is, help with the homes or, just, things that happen in the constituency. And because of the way our government is set up, you basically, the prime minister or the minister of finance controls the purse.
Yes.
Right, because we don't have a decentralized government whereby the money is trickled down into, and then distributed and stuff like that, which again, it goes back to, constitutional reform and all of that we can discuss another time, or people have touched on. But I'm just saying it is a reflection of his government that if they're saying that they believe she can come in and do a better job, it's a reflection of his party. And so the people of that constituency should look at that and say, okay, you are replacing this guy with this woman who have no history of elective government. I know people have said, well, she's a senator, but she was not elected to be a senator. She was selected.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she has no history of elective government, anything like that. So you are replacing her with this guy that you are saying basically he's not doing a good enough job at the constituency level. So you're replacing her. So if people are really looking through that whole thing, Tim, they can see clearly it is not about the constituents, or it is not about Mr. Henry. It's about, like you said, protecting that seat. They believe that she can come in and do a better job in terms of helping them retain the seat as compared to, providing that that support that the constituents need.
But I don't know what gives an advantage over Mr. Joachim Henry. I honestly do not know. And I'm not too familiar with that constituency, and I cannot tell you where Mr. Joachim Henry might have fallen short, the deficiencies and things of that nature. What is the politics of that particular community? But they would have done their due diligence and assessed the situation, and maybe a few polls, and realize that Mr. Joachim Henry cannot retain that seat come the next general election. And on that basis, they decided to replace him. They might argue they don't owe us, the people of St. Lucia, an explanation. And if they are not communicating with us with regard to national issues like crime and other concerns that we have, I don't expect that the St. Lucia Labour Party will tell us why they decided to replace Mr. Joachim Henry.
Well, I totally agree with you, Tim. And I would hope that these are the questions that even the Labour supporters, even the people who are still going to vote for her, despite them being angry about that, I hope that will be a question for them to ask the SLP. What it is about this guy that you felt he wasn't doing a good enough job that you can bring this woman to replace him, and what can she do better that he was not doing? Because then if they can answer that, it will fit right into basically, as I'm saying, it's a reflection of them and not just him. Yes, he may have had some issues in some areas and stuff where he could have done a better job, but I'm just saying it'll fall back on that if they can answer that question. So that's just how I interpret it, because I'm hearing there's a likelihood of some other people being replaced. So then the government. What I'm saying, Tim, is that if they think people are not doing a good enough job of not just representing the constituency, but not doing a good enough job as ministers and stuff like that, then there's been no cabinet reshuffle to say, okay, you're not doing a good enough job here. Let's replace you. Let's move you around and try to get certain things moving and stuff. But there's been no effort to do that, so they are not really interested, in really governing, Tim. And that's where I and many other St. Lucians really have an issue with, when we look at what's happening. You are elected to govern the country. But Tim, we're touching that now. Obviously, I think as the election gets closer, these are issues that, we will still be discussing. I also wanted to touch on another issue, Tim, and I know there are politicians from the opposition that call into your program and they trying to explain certain things. But I have a couple of questions, and this one particular question, Tim. When these guys are in opposition, and all of them do it, they come on the programs and they're very vocal about issues that are affecting the country and things that they can improve on. But then when they get into government, they hardly do on anything. And one particular issue for me, Tim, is the loopholes in terms of using consultants for everything. Almost everything is a consultant. But this one in particular, Tim, it has to do with the electoral department. Tim, I don't know if you're aware, right? But the former chief electoral officer is working as a consultant for the government. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware.
Right. So here's the issue I have with that, Tim. He not too long ago was the head of the electoral department. And then not too long after he leaves, he comes back and work as a consultant. So one of the things I want them to address is that loophole right there. I don't think you should be leaving an office like that and just immediately being hired back in as a consultant. I think they should tackle laws like that, whereby you say it's just like in the U.S. you say you cannot be a lobbyist immediately after you've left office. So I would like them to address an issue like that and say, you have to wait a couple of years after you've retired or you've left the office for whatever reason before you can come and be a direct consultant for that particular department. Because the electoral department, Tim, as you know, when the election come around, that is one of the most important department in the government of St. Lucia. Mm-hmm. And if you have someone that maybe that person, I'm just throwing that out there, that person is, a supporter of that party and stuff like that, then that party wins the election, that person is holding a lot of power there. And as we're talking about protecting the victory and all of that, that is my concern. That this guy who was not too long ago the chief electoral officer is now working as a consultant, Tim, and he's reporting directly to the person who's the acting, right? The guy who's is in charge right now. Is he acting?
No, I don't think he's acting. The gentleman is the chief elections officer.
Right. Mm-hmm. So then that's even things. I'm just saying he's now reporting directly to the guy who was appointed by this current administration. So if you watch the what's going on here and stuff like that, as the elections get closer, I want people to pay attention to that. Okay, when we're talking about, I don't think it's a case where
the government is directly appointing a chief elections officer. You have an electoral commission, which has representatives from both the governing party as well as the opposition party, and that issue would have come before them as well.
But the governing party has a majority, don't they?
Yes, I think they do.
Okay. And we know how things are done in St. Lucia, Tim. So I'm just saying, because of, again, how our government is set up, the parliamentary system we have, which is basically, I'm just saying the party is in power gets to control everything. And I'm just saying, I would like, if they're going to appoint consultants and stuff like that, that person should not have been working in the government so soon and just right away become a consultant. I would like to see where they say, you have to wait a couple of years before you can come back and be a consultant.
Okay, Cora.
That's my concern. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Still to come, we'll be hearing from the Home Affairs Minister. Remember, she promised to conduct an investigation into the operations of the briefcase, which is facilitating people to get their passports at the time that persons were encountering a lot of delays and problems in getting that document from the passport office. Well, she has spoken on this particular issue earlier today. She did provide an explanation, and we'll be hearing from Dr. Virginia Albert in just a moment. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Carnival just got crunchier with KFC. It's time to fet, win, and feast with the Carnival Crunch Box. For just $30, get a Big Crunch or Zinger sandwich, 3 crunchy strips, a dipping sauce, regular fries, a 16-ounce soda, and a biscuit. But wait, that's not all. Every Carnival Crunch Box gives you a chance to win big. Promotion runs June 1st to July 20th. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Do whatever that crunch you want.
Lazarus's funeral home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Your home is a reflection of who you are. So make it beautiful with MNC Home Depot.
Quality products at the best prices. Paint and plumbing to home appliances. Customer service, you can count on us. With experience, you can trust.
So if you need to build it, clean it, style it, paint it or fix it, chances are we got it. MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
Visit us in store or shop online at mnchomedepot.com. MNC Home Depot, better value for better homes.
Flo's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or launcher. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
At La Clinique de Corps, your health comes first with St. Lucia's only advanced 1.5 Tesla MRI, delivering safe, radiation-free imaging aligned with World Health Organization and international standards. Not sure if you need an MRI, CT, or ultrasound? Our expert in-house doctors guide you so you get the right scan the first time. One accurate scan can change everything. Your peace of mind starts here. Get $50 off all consultations with our doctors now through July 31st. We're UHC approved and accept all major insurances. Visit us in Castries or Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps. Advanced care, local access, your health reimagined.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vidbouté. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home, we've got the mortgage. Starting your first business, count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
when we started, we noticed that some persons were making a fortune out of that. And when we investigated, the point was that when people decided to go to a private company to get business, government cannot get involved in that. You decide, well, you do not want to follow the normal process, and you are going to approach this passport agent that will give you your passport in an expedite manner or whatever. Government decided not to get involved in those private arrangements. What we were concerned about was to expedite the process from our end so that the people can get timely service. So the acting labor commissioner at the time, what he did, he doubled up staff so that we could speed up the process, because the transition was a bit hectic. There were so many people who wanted to change their passport at the time, and we were able to reduce. They were working on Sundays and Saturdays, calling people to come and collect their passports, and we put more staff, and as a result, so that means it immediately put those passport agents almost out of commission, because people could get their passport done in a timely manner. So that is how we address the matter.
There you have it, the outcome of the probe conducted by the Home Affairs Ministry on the matter involving the briefcase. 4522979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a message coming from Lucilec. The St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, Lucilec, wishes to advise customers and the public that its customer service offices will be closed to the public on the following days: VA4 office and the Blue Coral Mall kiosk on Carnival Monday, July 21st, and Carnival Tuesday, July the 22nd. Rodney Bay office, Saturday, July the 19th, that's from tomorrow, to Wednesday, July the 23rd, for Carnival and maintenance work on the office air conditioning system. Normal business will resume at the VA4 office and the Blue Coral Mall kiosk on Wednesday, July the 23rd, and at the Rodney Bay office on Thursday, July the 24th at 8 o'clock in the morning. During the closures, the same great online options are available for your every need. They include access to account balances at 457-4433, that's 457-4433, and online payments through the My Account service at myaccount.lucilec.com. The management of Lucilec regrets any inconvenience that this closure may cause. We continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Once again, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. Okay. I heard that Joachim Henry was rewarded to step down. Only Mr. Joachim Henry can confirm this to us. Okay? And we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody said, in the first place, this should not have happened. The passport belongs to the government of St. Lucia. When one loses their passport, a report has to be made to the police and an investigation is carried out. Imagine if this briefcase loses a person's passport, what will the government say? We're going through as many of your WhatsApp messages as possible. Somebody says there, good afternoon, Tim. The new passport, I want to know if it's for 5 or 10 years. Well, a determination has not been made as to when this will come into effect. I'm talking about the passport that will be given to you for 10 years. Another person says, good day, Tim. I love the MNC ad, the best ad this year and counting 100%. And another person says via WhatsApp, the Prime Minister, speculation is rife that Alfred Prosper and Virginia Albert Poyet will soon be following Joachim Henry. Well, only time will tell. Let us wait and see what will happen as far as this is concerned. Okay, let's see there via WhatsApp, another WhatsApp message. Having new fire trucks, aerodrome trucks, is just a small aspect. The major issue is the human resource in the fire service. These vehicles don't drive themselves. It is the human resource. The Prime Minister should address the concerns of the firefighters as stated by Mr. Shane Felix. Some more of your WhatsApp messages. Please bear with me, trying to go through as many of them as possible. Tim, if they replace Mr. Henry because he was not good enough or working in the constituency, then Alfred Prosper should be replaced because he's the definition of failure in Dennery South. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Okay, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp. Tim, I just want to share my poetry. Pow, pow, pow is the echo of what's causing damage. I don't know how the youths them manage, killing generations, decreasing the population with no hesitation, all because they have lost vision. They're on a mission, destroying our nation. All they want is war, fighting for turf to be buried in the earth with no legacy, just a short obituary. They say it's a rough life, and upon the streets we say enough crimes. Youths are lost with little to no guidance. Bad boy and killer are the nicknames daddy gave them. Getting paid petty change to put another brother in the grave. They are ready to do the hard time. Sentenced is the judge's punchline. Some have no passports but a definite mugshot. No pain, no gain. But what's the gain when you don't get to see the sunshine or feel the rain? Bullets have no name, so you see sometimes the innocent gets drained. Holding this metal piece with no aim, families are left to bear the pain of the life a stray bullet claimed. Pow, 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 this echo still reigns. Another mother is bawling, a baby mama sobbing. Another teen left gunned down, blood running. Some look for light and peace in sight, but the money's tight. Dad didn't live a dime. Who's gonna help raise this young child? Depending on the system, only to be let down by the system. People killing, people dying, and who is left crying? Pow, 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 this echo still rings. Pow, pow, pow is the echo of what's causing damage. I don't know how the youths them manage, killing generations, decreasing the population with no hesitation, all because they have lost vision. They are on a mission, destroying our nation. All they want is war, fighting for turf to be buried in the earth with no legacy, just a short obituary. Okay, that is a poem. Of course, this reflects life in St. Lucia at this time with so many homicides. I think we are at about homicide number 38 so far. We have, I think, a press release. So let me go through it. And this press release reads, July 16, 2025, Catholics stand united against crime. A call to prayer, action, and national healing, Castries, St. Lucia. Amid a troubling rise in violent crime and deepening public anxiety, Catholic leaders and organizations across St. Lucia are issuing a heartfelt appeal to the nation's conscience. In response to the recent wave of murders and violent crimes, they are calling on St. Lucians both at home and abroad to stand united in faith, solidarity, and purposeful action. The escalating violence is not only alarming but a stark reflection of a deeper moral and spiritual crisis. It is a darkness that should weigh heavily on the hearts of all St. Lucians, demanding a collective and compassionate response rooted in justice, prayer, and national healing. In alignment with His Grace Archbishop Gabriel Malzer's powerful message denouncing crime and violence in St. Lucia, the Catholic community is calling for a dismantling of the structures of sin, greed, self-indulgence, and disregard for human life, and a rebuilding of the structures of grace rooted in community, compassion, and respect. The all-consuming thirst for power, profit, and our pleasure are tentacles of the structures of sin. Let us recommit to prayer and respect for life, taking all appropriate actions to address the scourge of crime. The light of Christ is needed to dispel the darkness. VMP, prominent promises within the faith community, echo this message. The upsurge in violence mirrors the erosion of our communal spirit. We have lost our moral compass. I welcome His Grace's call for fasting and prayer to heal our land. A message just sent to me there. Again, do not want to burst the bubble of His Grace, Gabriel Malzer, or discourage anyone who believes that we should be praying for our nation at this particular critical juncture. But I think, we're just hiding behind something that on its own will not bring any kind of relief to the people of St. Lucia. Because we have been boasting for eons that we are a Christian community, that we pray a lot. There isn't any shortage of churches in St. Lucia. Visit, for example, certain communities, Bexon, Church upon Church, even Grosley, have so many churches within that community. A number of churches lining the streets of various parts of St. Lucia. People are praying on their own, in their homes, in their communities. And what do we have to show for it? The bloodshed continues. The triple homicides continue. The double homicides continue. Pregnant women are killed. 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and you want to tell me that prayer is the answer to this particular problem? The authorities, they would love to hear that, or they love hearing that. Your police commissioner loves to hear that because that gets him off the hook. The Prime Minister loves this. National Security Minister, Crime Prevention Minister, they love it. Apart from praying, we need to call on the authorities on this land of ours. A lower authority, a lower power, apart from God and Jesus Christ, etc., to take on the mantle, to take on the responsibilities seriously, and stop uttering nonsense in our island's parliament, stop making excuses, and address the issue directly. Because you have been given that responsibility, not only by God, but directly by the people of St. Lucia. And you seem to be doing very well when it comes to organizing the Jazz Festival. Talk about success after success. You see the people, you see the crowds, and the Prime Minister will tell you, look at people. But look at the number of people who are losing their lives in St. Lucia on a weekly basis. And every year, the number of homicides in the 70s. Those are figures, that we have to take cognizant of. 70 odd homicides, 77, 74, 73, under the watch of individuals who have the titles, who have the responsibilities, who have the resources at their disposal to make life better in this country. And as far as crime is concerned, what does this government have to show to give you the impression that taking that task, that responsibility seriously? Because the evidence is there that they have done poorly as far as addressing and tackling crime in St. Lucia. We're not talking about burglaries, We're not talking about the number of people who are being raped in this country and they do not make any reports to the police or do not report it to the police. Or house breakings reported to the police. They don't. And the stealing of vehicles, vehicles being burgled, etc., those are not reported to the police. What we know, because of the significance, when somebody loses their life, this is automatically reported to law enforcement. You cannot hide it. So that's what we know. But clearly we have a bigger problem on our hands as far as crime is concerned in St. Lucia in totality. So it's not that we have not tried it before. We have prayed. We continue to pray. We've had prayer warriors in Pastor Ben. We have had the Christian Council doing their fair share in terms of seeking divine intervention, and yet still the problem persists? Are you insisting that we should continue to pray and forget about the responsibility that resides with so many people, so many agencies, so many institutions, and the rest of the citizenry in this country? Forget about that at all? Forget it? And to continue to have a situation where politicians are just hell-bent on protecting the victory? They will only come to you and address things that would give them, that would paint them in a good light, where they could score high marks. Just like, for example, a student is saying, I'm efficient in English, in social studies, in accounts, etc. I'm prepared for you to mark my grade, mark my work, but forget about mathematics, where I'm extremely weak. And that is what the government of St. Lucia is doing. Focusing on things that, where they believe they are excelling. Oh, record arrivals in tourism. Oh, we're giving you this and we're giving you that. We have paid the salaries of public sector workers. We have given them so many, it's the benefits owed to them. The health sector, we're trying to record gains in the health sector. We're hiring more nurses. We're hiring more police officers, providing them with more vehicles. What has this resulted in us achieving? As far as crime is concerned, if we continue to take our limited resources and continue to invest it in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, in providing them with more vehicles, more motorcycles, have more police officers, at the rate we are going right now, do you envisage next year things are going to improve? And the year after, are things going to improve? On that basis, we are wasting our limited resources. And the evidence is there to show. So let us stop focusing on praying and fasting. We'll pray and we'll fast until we die as a result of us fasting. And the situation will not improve. The Prime Minister needs to take his job seriously. It is a job that he wanted, he campaigned for, he begged, in certain instances, misled the people of St. Lucia. He got that job. He has to deliver. It's life and death as far as our future is concerned. Too many people are losing their lives in such tragic circumstances. 12-year-olds, 13, 15, women, children not even born, they are being killed. Let's take this thing seriously. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
Mark your calendars for July 30th and 31st. It's 2 days of sizzling savings you don't want to miss. Cashier Day is coming to Europa Hardware. Get 15% off all your favorite cashier gear. Wet and dry vacuum cleaners, powerful pressure washers, gas or electric, upholstery cleaners and steam cleaners that make grime run for cover. Swing by Europa Hardware and score 15% discount during the Cashier Day promotion. Remember, it's July 30th and 31st. Write it down, set a reminder, tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't wait, don't miss out. Call us at 452-0763. Europa Hardware in Massad Grosley. We service what we sell.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucelec at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart, stay safe.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. Fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
It's in the feeling in our weak side. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. We people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come, let your rhythm flow.
Carnival just got crunchier with KFC. It's time to fat, win, and feast with the Carnival Crunch Box. For just $30, get a big crunch or zinger sandwich, 3 crunchy strips, a dipping sauce, regular fries, a 16-ounce soda, and a biscuit. But wait, that's not all. Every Carnival Crunch Box gives you a chance to win big. Promotion runs June 1st to July 20th. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Do whatever that crunch you want.
At La Clinique de Corps, your health comes first with St. Lucia's only advanced 1.5 Tesla MRI, delivering safe, radiation-free imaging aligned with World Health Organization and international standards. Not sure if you need an MRI, CT, or ultrasound? Our expert in-house doctors guide you so you get the right scan the first time. One accurate scan can change everything. Your peace of mind starts here. Get $50 off all consultations with our doctors now through July 31st. We're UHC approved and accept all major insurances. Visit us in Castries or Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps. Advanced care, local access, your health reimagined.
It's time to paint and save at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt. Get 20% off on all Berger Everflow and Magic Coat paint during our big carnival season paint sale. Whether you're refreshing one room or painting the whole house, now's the perfect time to add that pop of color. But hurry, the Rush and Save sale is only here for a limited time.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Lucilec wishes to advise customers and the public that its customer service offices will be closed to the public on the following days. VA4 office and the Blue Coral Mall kiosk, Carnival Monday, July 21st, and Tuesday, July the 22nd. Rodney Bay office, Saturday, July 19th to Wednesday, July the 23rd, for carnival and maintenance work on the office air conditioning system. Normal business will resume at the VA4 office and the Blue Coral Mall kiosk on Wednesday, July the 23rd, and at the Rodney Bay office on Thursday, July the 24th at 8 o'clock in the morning. During the closures, the same great online options are available for your every need. They include access to account balances at 457-4433, 457-4433, and online payments through the My Account service at myaccount.lucilec.com. The management of Lucilec regrets any inconvenience that this closure may cause. Let me turn my attention now to our NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day reads, why so many killings and not a word from the Philip J. Pierre government? Why so many killings and not a word from the Philip J. Pierre administration? That is our NewsSpin question of the day. In just a moment, we'll be turning our attention to the NewsSpin news of the day. I know that you look forward to this. Let's take a call via WhatsApp. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Hello,
this
Tim.
is good afternoon. You are on the air.
Tim, you had an earlier caller. I don't remember the second or third, but you had an earlier caller, and he put a number of questions to you. But in my ear, all of those questions sounded like indictments related to the way we live in this country. and how we have adapted to mediocrity. So that's the most normal thing. We have normalized mediocrity. And having done that, everything around us must keep on getting more and more mediocre. If the government, for example, is assured that no matter how many people are killed, it doesn't really matter. We might talk about it for 5 minutes and wait for the next slot. If we have a DPP that's been there for more than 10 years, we've heard from him at one press conference only, and that itself was a bizarro, etc., etc. You expect things to get better or to get worse? Since we have made mediocrity, we have normalized mediocrity.
It will not get better. But Rick, let me ask you, I wonder if it is a strategy by the government that they ought not to address those critical issues and at particular times. For example, the cost of living issue, they decided not to focus on it a few years ago because they had no answers, they claimed, and it was beyond their control. All of a sudden now, on the heels of a general election, they're providing relief to the people of St. Lucia. The crime problem has certainly plagued us for a very long time, and it has been something that has affected many administrations, including this one. But we're not getting the impression that the government sees this as a priority through the kind of response and the kind of attitude it displays. We have not, I think that this is long overdue, and I've been saying this for a while. The Prime Minister, and the last address to the nation by the Prime Minister was on increasing salary and benefits, etc., back pay owed to public sector workers. That warranted, according to him, an address to the nation. It doesn't warrant an address to the nation on crime? Is that part of a strategy, you think? Because I don't think it's a good strategy.
Well, let's not pretend we're living on Mars. The whole world of politicians is that they react to how people react to what goes on in the country. Unless, of course, it's an autocracy where people don't have choice. Like right now in England, there's all kinds of noise going on about the possibility of Trump coming to England and addressing Parliament. Mm-hmm. In the States itself, there's all kinds of noise going on about releasing the files on
Epstein,
etc. And of course,
and it's coming from the MAGA segment of the country. Those who are supporting Trump.
You anticipated me. So what you're calling MAGA, I'm calling citizens who who supposedly support Trump. Even they are coming out and saying, though I support Trump, though I'm MAGA, this is ridiculous, having said so much about the Epstein files, and now you just want to cancel it. They're making noise about it. In other words, we don't like it. You with me, Tim?
Yes.
We don't like it. So politicians react to the behavior of the citizenry, because it's the citizenry that becomes the electorate that gets them into power. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing on every politician's plate is winning an election. That's why I was talking to you. We need a few people who are political in terms of they deal with the issues of the day, but don't have political ambition, therefore can speak. For example, Tim, can you imagine Dominic Fede on the side of the opposition? What is he? I think he's the lead member.
He is
in the Senate.
He's the lead opposition senator.
Can you imagine a guy on the other side, the government side, saying, Dominic, you don't waste the time, etc. Why don't you have something to offer? Or even forget Dominic. Let's go to the one they do it to all the time.
Bradley Felix.
Bradley, right? You know right away, because it's so commonplace. Why don't you stop following the white man because you say those things in the house? Somebody who doesn't look like you, and join us. We look like you. And then Bradley picks up his papers and walks across and sits on their side. Well, how do you think people would react to that?
Well, supporters.
You don't know.
Supporters. No.
In our circumstances,
No.
you don't even know.
I know. Supporters of the United Workers' Party will blast him, will call him a snake and a traitor. And those on the side of the St. Lucia Labour Party will say, good job. Finally, you're good guys. Finally, you've seen the light.
Okay. So now you have, for almost, how many, 4 years they've been in office?
Almost 4.
Explain to me, Tim, how two candidates who won their seats campaigning as independent candidates, no matter what their history, what their appearances are, they ran as independent candidates. They took their seats as independent candidates. And the Prime Minister effectively turns around and tells all the people who voted for those people as independent, because I'm going to assume they voted for them as independent candidates. And even if you want to say, well, not all, I'm going to concentrate on the ones who did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who really believed the soup, the Kool-Aid, and believed that these two candidates were going to be independents, especially one of them who said he wants to change the politics. Remember that?
Rick, I think the majority of those people who voted in Castries North and Castries Central respectively, they knew that they were voting for individuals who would be part of the SLP administration if it won. And I'll tell you why. On what basis?
I'm not going to argue that.
No, hold on, because it was a part of a strategy. You as a supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party, you go into the Castries Central poll, you know that there isn't any SLP candidate there. So it's between the United Workers' Party and this individual who described himself as independent Labour. So you vote for this guy. And likewise in Castries North, there was only a United Workers' Party candidate and this individual with the blue wave, etc., the Patriot. So they knew they were doing. They knew that they were voting for, in effect, de facto.
Okay,
they were voting for de facto SLP candidates. That's what was happening. They knew it.
Let me say something to you, Tim. I actually called one particular lady who, by all appearances, seemed to me a regular person, intelligent, educated, and wanting to see St. Lucia. And she actually told me she's voting for King because she wants to see something new happen in the country. Was she lying to me? I don't know. But she actually said that to me.
She was naive.
And I chose to believe her. And I'm going to choose to have the faith that there were at least 5 other people who maybe fell for the trick. They didn't quite see through it. I'm going to start. But here's the point. Regardless of what they might think, etc., how do two guys who came into the house as independents find themselves in the cabinet of the government, in the office of the government, for all intents and purposes, have never criticized the government. They support the government in every way. They campaign on behalf of the government. They attack the opposition on behalf of the government. So that in every way, they are in fact part of the government. Now, can you imagine that happening in any other country? How an independent, because the Prime Minister could easily, or those guys, could just as easily have so to speak, cross the floor, or after they're the one, they can move, you know.
But Rick, under the Westminster system, it happens. It can happen. That's the system that we have under the Westminster system.
We have correct me, because I may not be on target with that. You're telling me that under the Westminster system, independents, people who run as independents, can become permanent members of the cabinet of ministers in the government?
Yes.
Where have you ever seen that?
Because the Prime Minister decides who sits
No, you said that
in
is
his
the
cabinet.
Westminster system.
Under the Westminster system, yes, that's
No,
what it happens. It is
Where?
No, it is permissible,
Where?
Rick.
Where has that happened?
Because Rick, listen.
No, it's not why.
No, let me tell you. Of course, it has happened in many countries. But let me tell you.
Okay.
The government consists of the Prime Minister, or the individual, who commands the majority of the support of members of the Parliament, of the House. Right?
And therefore
it does not say whether you're an SLP supporter or an SLP MP or UDP MP. the person who commands the support of the majority of the elected members of parliament becomes the prime minister. So on that basis now, among those people he becoming prime minister, he can choose his cabinet. He can choose Alan Chasney as his minister of tourism. He can choose anyone to be part of his cabinet.
Are you sure of that, Tim?
Yes,
because
Rick.
I really have not done any real research on that.
I don't think there's a need for any research on that, because the Constitution says the person who commands the support of the majority of the elected members of the parliament, of the house, becomes the prime minister. Right?
So if the prime minister right now decided it was going to be nice and generous and say to Alan Chasney and Bradley, come to our side, we'll give you such ministries and so on and so on. You'll be able to help your people.
Mm-hmm.
So he's free to do that.
Yes, but why do you think that our good friend Neville Snack, Sir Neville Snack?
No, Neville's not got a different story.
He was Labour, and he became
Neville Snack ran as Labour,
Yes.
and before Parliament, he decided, made his arrangement to cross the border. It's a totally different thing, Tim.
Yes, but basically, I'm just saying to you.
I wish an expert. I wish one of those experts out there.
No, but I'm sure on this one, Rick. It is correct. It's absolutely correct. You can choose anyone to be part of your cabinet if they are elected, an elected person. And if they're part of the Senate, you can choose them to be part of your government. It's simple.
So the government can choose
It's straightforward.
to pull two independent candidates and make them permanent members of their cabinet.
Of his cabinet, yes, that's what it is. They need not be a member of his party. They can, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, boy, Tim, I'm not prepared to argue that to this extent because I didn't really research it. I was thinking of the ethics of that.
Because Rick, on this one, there's nothing to argue.
No, I will look it up because it seems to me that why then wouldn't those two guys simply become members of the Labour Party and join the cabinet?
Because it's possible. They need not
all
be.
intents and purposes,
Mm-hmm.
they are of the same party. All intents and purposes. Then why not be? Why pretend? Why hang out under umbrellas, independent umbrella candidates, when in fact everybody knows you are not? Isn't that perpetuating a lie, and that doesn't look good in any shape or form?
But Richard Frederick can easily tomorrow become a member of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
But the Prime Minister says that.
You remember? No, hold on. Let's walk through this slowly. He can easily become a member of the St. Lucia Labour Party, but his application has not been accepted. Right? Is that a fact?
His what?
His application to become a member of the SLP has not accepted.
As far as we know.
Because he said recently, remember he said a few months ago, if not last year or earlier this year, that Mr. Prime Minister, my application to join the SLP is taking too long.
Yes, but then later, even after that, the Prime Minister said, as of this moment, he is not. Because he was pressured,
right,
and he kept answering, as of this moment, we're not. So as far as we know, Richard Frederick is still not a member of the Labour Party, and neither is Stephenson King.
Right, but that does not prevent them from being part of his cabinet.
Obviously not, because that's what's going on.
Right.
So I look at this, and at best, it looks bizarre. So your guy who called you a while ago said a number of things, and I said we deserve all we are getting for this tolerating of this mediocrity that becomes worse and worse. And just before I go, Tim, how many people were shot last night?
6 people. As far as I'm aware.
6.
Yeah, 6 people were shot in total.
And I'm also hearing 3, not 2, died.
Well, the information I got before I got on the air is that 2 died. 1 on the scene and 1 later.
Now, imagine that. 6 people shot, 2 fatally. One I heard 13 or 15. Doesn't make that much difference.
Yeah.
And the police commissioner has not called a press conference, has not issued a statement to anyone. And worst of all, it's like Herman, who wrote that novel, Don't Stop the Carnival. It's like, in fact, that is the word I was looking for. Is St. Lucia, does St. Lucia look like a civilized nation of laws? Or does it look like a bacchanal carnival, non-stop carnival? I mean, this has gotten beyond the point of tolerance, or bullshit partisanship on either side. It's gotten to the point of survival. We are becoming more and more like crabs, Tim. And before long, all we're going to have is crab mentality in this country. And we ain't going nowhere, can take advantage of no opportunity. We have no ambitions, no standards. We have no love. We have no empathy. We are becoming more and more like crabs. And that's not politics. I'm talking about as a nation. The things we are tolerating and making normal are normal only for crabs and wabbits and that kind of, not people. Not even uneducated people, Tim. And we are living with it normally, 6 people getting killed. And you didn't have one serious call.
No, not 6. 6 people were shot.
I'm sorry, yeah. 6 people were shot today. That's the news for now. And you didn't get one serious, really outraged call on that today.
None.
During the week, you've had more calls for outrage about this, that, and this and that. But that was Tim, think about that. A car or a vehicle, and we don't even have details. We don't even have details. We have no newspapers and media who want to cover it anyway. Those who do carry it are pressured to play it down. Otherwise, you're looked upon as the enemy within. And the crabs are tolerating this. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. All right, let's turn our attention now to our final feature on the broadcast, and that is the NewsSpin News of the Day. The NewsSpin News of the Day reads, UK MPs to tighten laws allowing foreign donations to influence elections. UK MPs to tighten laws allowing foreign donations to influence elections. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Enjoy your carnival weekend, and we'll be back very soon. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.